Oh, those whites are at it again.
Yeah, the whites are fighting.
The whites are fighting.
The white people.
The whites are fighting.
I wonder what Eddie Murphy has to say about all this, you know?
Get Eddie Murphy's goofy takes. Go to Eddie Murphy's Twitter right now. Find if he has that cornflower blue and cornflower yellow flag.
Well, I reminded of that because Eddie Murphy has that great SNL bit where he's singing "Kill All the White People."
Right, yeah.
And, hey, that part's going well.
Mm-hmm. No.
What do you mean?
This is hardly all the white people.
Well, I guess it's like 40 million of them.
That's not a lot of white people. We're crazy. You know, we got a lot of irons in the fire. You know, we got our thumbs in a lot of pies. We're everywhere. You know?
Yeah. So, but
the whites, we're everywhere. That's our slogan.
First, a war here on the Europe. The Europe? Is it called the Europe or just Europe?
It's called the Europe. You know, it's the Ukraine, it's the Russia, it's the Europe.
Yeah.
It's the war.
Well, it's called the Europe because it's kind of the Europe is kind of our, American. It's kind of our territory. So
yeah.
It's
there
the
you go.
Europe.
You're right. We have the right to eventually annex Europe. That's what we should. Everyone's distracted by Ukraine right now. We should take over France.
So what I was thinking actually was that the Venetians should do Vexitol.
Vexitol.
Yeah, that's so Venetian independence. So Venice
Venetian independence
can
movement
rise to glory again, and we can return all the territories to the Doge.
To the Doge, that's some sort of Venetian official.
Yeah,
and not the meme.
No.
Meme hound.
No, the Venetian Doge was the I guess the big guy that in Venice.
He was the guy. He controlled all the canals.
Yeah, they were a classic example of a thassalocracy. Thassalocracy. That's a good word for you.
Oh, what does thassalocracy mean? This word of the day.
Thassalocracy is like a maritime empire.
A maritime empire.
Yeah. So
that's great.
Ding ding ding.
Britain.
Mail call. It's mail time.
Japan. It's mail time.
It's mail time. We have an email from.
It's always mail time because I'm batting my face and neck with penises.
We have an email from our lovely listener and frequent guest Jay.
Jay, what does Jay say?
Jay said, "I would like to say for the record that I never trafficked Alex for bong rips."
Yes.
He also says
lies.
Says
gaslighting.
He also says he can explain Trotsky, and I said, I said, well, did I get it right? Is Trotsky the Elizabeth Warren of capitalism? I'm sorry, communism.
Yeah.
And he said, no, the Mensheviks were the Elizabeth Warrens of communism.
There you go.
He said Trotsky fucked too much and used to be badass. It's more like he's more like the Christopher Hitchens of communism.
Oh, that's I guess did Christopher Hitchens? I guess he used to be badass. When did Christopher Hitchens become a warmonger? I guess did the Iraq War drive him insane? Did 9/11 drive Christopher Hitchens insane?
Yeah. It's funny now because this Ukraine thing is going to drive a bunch of the take economy, the take people. It's going to drive them all insane.
It's happening to the whites. If it can happen to the whites, it can happen to you.
Yeah. Meanwhile, America's bombing places left and right still.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there's been the world has been in a state of perpetual war, but you don't call it a war. You call it a police action.
Yeah,
we got
other rules for other parts of the world, as this one interview I read was talking about. They were like, hasn't there really been wars like constantly? Yeah, pretty much. But you know what? On House of Decline, we see the positive side of everything. So what everyone's talking about the negatives. What are the positives of this war?
I keep trying to get this joke. It's the worst joke in the world, but I think it's very funny, where I start a group chat called Azov Battalion, which is a Wolf of Wall Street group chat named for the character Donnie Azov, played by Jonah Hill. And well, now that everybody knows about Azov Battalion, everyone's going to love my hilarious group chat name.
If China invaded us, I would send out the Proud Boys right away. Like,
the Proud Boys?
Please go fight.
Do you think they'd be willing to fight? Do you think they would be willing to be on the front lines?
No, because you know what? They really are pussy boys.
They're pussy boys.
They're pussy boys.
Yeah, they're pussy boys. Come after us, Proud Boys. We invite you to our addresses. And I'm just
our address is www.houseofdecline.com.
Fight us on the internet. Leave a comment. Leave a gay comment in our new gay comic section.
Coming soon to an internet near you, the new version of House of Decline as soon as I can figure out how to do a bunch of stuff.
But you will.
The only limit is my own intellect.
And you... Come on, you know, you've seen Limitless. Mm-hmm. You can just think your way through stuff.
Don't you have to take a pill to get Limitless?
Yeah, you have to take a drug. I love Limitless. Limitless is so good. It's like, oh my God, you take the drug and you get in a bunch of trouble, but the drug makes you so smart you get out of the trouble, and there are no downsides to doing the drug.
Oh man, I wish there was a drug with no downsides.
It's like in the movie Flight as well, it has that arc of a plot where Denzel Washington gets in trouble for being intoxicated as a pilot and then does a bunch of cocaine in order to save the day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. These are fantasies. I like movies that are pro-drug. I like pro-drug movies, and there aren't a lot of them. That's why Requiem for a Dream is such a weird snitch movie. It has weird snitch energy to it.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that one.
I like Darren Aronofsky. I think Darren Aronofsky is a fucking moron. He's a total fucking idiot that somehow manages to make brilliant, great movies occasionally.
I mean, I'm going to look up his Wikipedia right now, see if he's got anything cooking. Let's see.
Requiem sucks. I love The Wrestler. I cannot say enough good things about The Wrestler, I think. It's
okay, he's got a movie coming up called The Whale, based on a play by Samuel D. Hunter, starring Brendan Fraser.
There you go. It's hitting all of these cultural buttons.
Let me read to you the premise. So this is, the main character is Charlie, and it's a 600-pound middle-aged man named Charlie tries to reconnect with his 17-year-old daughter. The two grew apart after Charlie abandoned his family for his gay lover who later died. Charlie then went on to binge eat out of pain and guilt. Called The Whale.
And it's starring a now heavy Brendan Fraser, who's probably going to have to wear an additional fat suit in order to convincingly play 600 pounds.
Yeah, I hope so.
Which is funny. You're hiring a fat guy, but so he knows the role, but, you know.
Well, it's great that Brendan Fraser is going to be in this movie. He's going to be in the new Martin Scorsese movie.
Oh, really? That's
yeah,
great.
He's going to be in the what's the new Martin Scorsese movie called? The
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah,
or
some kind of
like
weird
that.
frou-frou title like that. Who the fuck knows? It's gonna.
Who is fucking Martin Scorsese? That frou-frou little pansy,
little pansy boy making pansy.
What a little faggot, Martin Scorsese.
Hey,
you know.
Hey, whoa! Too many F slurs.
Said I can say it. That's not true. I feel like I haven't had sex in a while. I need to re-up. I need to re-up.
You should. You'll feel better. You'll feel better if you go out and
I'll probably feel better. And then I'll be able to say fag with impunity after I've had my face destroyed by a cock.
We're turning this episode into
Several
therapy
cocks.
for you.
This is, sure.
Let me tell you what you need to do.
Tired all the time.
This is the different. I do a kind of therapy called authoritarian therapy where I tell you what you need to do to fix your life and you're not allowed to talk.
Oh, yeah, authoritherapy.
Authoritherapy. You got to exercise. You got to have sex. You got to quit doing so many drugs all the time. Okay, you got to eat right. You got to eat some chunky salads.
Oh, no, I hate chunky salads.
I know you hate chunky salads.
They're the worst type of salads.
You hate
I like a leafy salad.
I hate
them so much.
You hate a chunky salad.
I'm not a fan of a chunky salad. It's not the texture a salad should be. It shouldn't come in chunks.
Yeah, it's chunky.
Nothing should come in chunks.
Little bits of garbanzo, little bits of cucumber, little bits of onion.
The only chunks I like chunks in curry. Chunks are good in curry. I like chicken nuggets, which is just a form of chunk. You know, I don't like them in chunks. Call me a stickler, you know. I don't like bodies in chunks.
Like separated chunks?
Yeah, I don't like seeing a body meticulously separated in front of me.
Yeah.
With all of the blood drained out. I don't like seeing that. Get that shit away from me.
You know that movie Cube?
Cube? Yeah.
Cube, where they're all trapped in the cube.
Beautiful CanCon. It's
and they got to get out of
Canadian
they got to get out of the cube, and each room in the cube has got a different death machine in it.
It's got different. Yeah, it's a precursor to Saw.
And one of the death machines is like those wire mesh that turns you into little cubes.
Turns you into little cubes. Yeah, I hated that. It's funny because the cubes were cubes within the movie.
Yeah,
they kept referencing various cubes.
It's like that's how they make paneer,
Yeah. Oh my God! You mentioned Indian food.
Are you craving it?
Eat Indian.
Yeah, we're getting Mexican tonight.
That's the Indian food of North America.
I guess so. I think Indian food is the Indian food of North America.
No, not at all. You're way off with this comparison. The Indian food of South America is, of course, Bolivian cuisine. Whoa. As we all know, yeah.
Well, I follow the restaurant bot on Twitter, which is one of my favorite follows. Because it shows you pictures from like Google restaurants. Because Google has all the restaurants now. And it just shows you pics of their food. And it's so funny. All over the world, people are making these horrifying side salads. I love it. It's like not just here. It's everywhere. There's like putting like really thick slices of cucumber and some white onion and some ranch on it. That's happening everywhere. I thought it was just here.
It's like this type of salad I would prepare for myself.
I made a chunky salad today. I was thinking about how much...
Fuck you.
I was like, I want to invite Alex here to have some chunky salad and play PS4.
I hate that shit. It reminds me of bodies and chunks.
Yeah. Well.
It reminded me of my father, who was chunked up with the mesh wire from Cube. We were going on a tour of various props used in Canadian movies.
Is Cube Canadian?
Cube is Canadian. It's majestic, beautiful CanCon.
Well, I think we were talking about it before the show, but Canada has got the most Ukrainians outside of Ukraine.
Yeah. A Tale of Two Women, Faith Goldie and Krista Freeland.
I mean, they're responsible. They're not responsible for the...
They are responsible. They're directly responsible.
For bringing all the Ukrainians. All the Ukrainians came in like... When did they come? Like the early 20th century?
Yeah, all the Ukrainians saw Saskatchewan, which is like a field of wheat, and was like, this is fine.
You really?
It's a field of frozen
You guys
wheat.
have wheat? I thought
we got wheat up here.
I thought you had cranberries only.
We're wheat, boy. Yeah, we're bogs. It's just a big bog country, That's how cranberries are grown,
Yes, in a bog.
Bogs. Are you a bog person? Do you relate to bog people?
No, I come from Dallas, Texas, so I am a Great Plains guy. I like to see my preferred landscape is flat, and the sky makes a big bowl.
Okay, so you would be white mana?
What does that mean?
From Magic the Gathering, how they draw power from different sources of land, and the plains is the white mana.
Okay, I never played Magic.
The white mana.
Sounds like a nickname for JD Vance.
Do you think JD Vance plays Magic the Gathering?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. What a dweeb. He probably argues about the rules.
Yeah.
I think JD Vance and Pete Buttigieg should play Magic the Gathering. I would be very invested in that.
That's how they should determine the president.
Yeah. We should have a Magic tournament.
I was thinking, maybe the only way we're going to be able to resolve this war is if Vladimir Putin and Barack Obama have a boxing match.
Who do you think? I think. Who do you think would win? Because Obama's got the reach.
But Putin's a judo guy.
Yeah, he's a judo guy. But what if it's all for show? What if he's just like Steven Seagaling it constantly, and he's just brushing people?
So in Putin's corner, it'd be Lukashenko from Belarus, being the towel boy, and Obama's
I think
corner,
he'd go down quick.
Who do you think would be in Obama's corner? Would be Biden?
Yeah, it'd probably be Brandon.
I don't know. I like Biden. I don't know why people don't like him.
You like Biden?
I like him.
Why do you like Biden?
Well, he and I share a deep love of ice cream.
That's true.
And I like how he's, I like that story about the dog that he told.
What story about the dog that he told?
He was like, one time one of my constituents called me up at 2 a.m. and was like, Mr. Biden, this was when he was in Congress or something. He was like, Mr. Biden, I have a dead dog on my lawn, and I called and no one came and got it. And he's like, well, miss, I can come in the morning. And then she's like, no, I want you to come now and get it. And so he's like, so I went over to her house, took the dead dog off her lawn, put it right on her front porch.
Yeah, you're right. He's cool. He's got that cruelty.
I'm like,
He's got that meanness.
Yeah.
That's very charming. There's a way to be mean that's very charming, and I think he has that quality sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not biased against the elderly. A lot of people are really biased against the elderly. There's ageism.
You think there's ageism going against Mr. Robinette here?
Yeah.
Against Joseph R.
Yeah.
Call him Joe R.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do with Mr. Vladimir Putin.
Wasn't there some sort of nuclear thing announced today?
I mean, it was expected. Putin was just like
the nukes.
Putin was just like, we're going to put our bombers with nukes on, like, there's like different stages like we have, like there's like 5 stages. And he's like, we're going to bump them up a stage of readiness, so they're going to be more ready. But at the height of the Cold War, we were several levels above this. At the height of the Cold War, we were like, both Russia and America had planes with nukes flying real close to each other all the time, and we're not there yet. It doesn't make sense to start using nukes over Ukraine.
No, well, maybe it's just he's showing off his ride. You know, he's showing off all of his beautiful missiles.
Yeah.
It's just like he's peacocking, you know? He's peacocking across an entire country. He's using male manipulation strategy.
Well, what's funny to me...
But we have the best male manipulator in chief.
What's funny to me is that all these post-left people and all these conservative people are so pro-Putin, and yet Putin is the biggest COVID. Like, he's so scared of COVID, and they love this guy who's just, like, terrified of COVID, and it's very funny that, like, he's basically, like, under other circumstances,
he's a hypochondriac or something?
They'd call him a giant pussy for being so scared of COVID. He's making his Security Council sit like 1,000 feet away from him.
Yeah, but I guess the logic in their mind is Ukraine represents some sort of vanguard of Western decadence, even though it's
okay.
I don't know. I've been seeing like lots of, in terms of like awful, obviously it's stupid to have an opinion on this subject, and if you talk about it, you're damned to being stupid. But I'll talk about it anyway. And it's old Mr. Vaush has been revealing himself to be a weird, craven warmonger throughout this week of takes.
Yeah, I mean, I am not. I don't care. It's fine. I think because it doesn't matter really.
But the weird thing is they're doing is like that thing where they personify artillery as anime girls.
Okay,
he's doing a lot of those memes.
That's cool. That's cool behavior.
Yeah, and it's Stinger Missile Chan. I'm going to get Azov about woo.
I mean, isn't Fausch like 25 or something?
Yeah, he's 26.
Like, he's an idiot. No one under the age of 30 should be listened to about geopolitics.
there you get
like,
30.
What the fuck? Who the fuck is asking anyone under 30 about geopolitics?
Hey, lots of people know stuff about geopolitics. Lots of youngins.
No, I'm ageist. I'm ageist in the other way.
You're ageist against the youngins. You like Joe Biden because he's old. You trust old people. They know more things.
Old people know what's going on.
It's just like that Louis C.K. bit, which he was going to perform.
Yeah, I so wish that was true.
Yeah. That he was actually... Didn't they cancel that show? The show was canceled. But I like the idea of him taking a stand and performing in a war zone. Because he did do that on the Louis show. There was like a whole episode about him going to Afghanistan to do stand-up for the troops. Which is funny. It's funny that there is military propaganda in Louis, come to think about it. It's not like... It's pretty uncritical of the military. And I don't know if like you need to take a stance for doing a USO tour. I guess that's not really what it's about, but it sort of functions as propaganda in a way because it's talking about more the communal experience. Yeah, I'm remembering the episode vaguely, but it's sort of more about warm feelings amidst the danger than it is about, the horrible imperialist onslaught of America. Not that I would expect Louis C.K. to have a take on that. It'd be funny. Remember when he was campaigning for Hillary Clinton and he was like, the thing about Hillary is she's like a mom. And that's what we need in this country is like a big bitch mom in order to get
wow.
I mean, fuck you masturbating fuck.
Yeah, he can't stop this man can't stop jacking off. Why are we listening to this guy? He can't stop jacking off for long enough
jerking off. Oh, Jimmy Fallon, I'm jerking off right now. My daughters.
Jerking off's not even that, like, I hate jerking off now. I hate it.
Why do you hate it?
It's not pleasurable.
No, it's not pleasurable. It's jerking. It's like draining a wound. It's a bodily exercise, like taking a shit.
Yeah, it's stupid.
You're not supposed to like masturbation. You're supposed to like comic books and Elden Ring
and tiny little figurines.
The tiny little figurines. Do that instead of jacking off so much. Paint little figurines.
Well, what did I do today? I did house cleaning. I did a bunch of cooking. Cooked beans with some tempeh enough for the week. Made my chunky salad. Tempeh. We're going vegetarian. Now that I quit weed, I'm losing weight. Eating right.
That's good, yeah.
I'm exercising.
Don't want to eat as much crap. Oh, wow. Mr. Sobriety. Getting his life together. I'm sorry my tone of voice is like this. I'm genuinely happy for you.
Funny. You should try it, man. You should try it for a month. 1 month.
No.
No? No. I couldn't possibly do that.
No, please. I need my weed. I need to continue.
I mean, if it's not negatively affecting you, it doesn't matter.
It is negatively affecting me, but I like it. I don't want to stop.
I mean, negatively affecting you to the point where, like, it's like me where you can't sleep. Like, if it's just making you have brain fog and not remember shit, that's fine. That's kind of, I liked that. I liked not having dreams or remembering anything. Because, like, I was so stressed out all the time, I would just forget what I was stressed out about.
Exactly.
Now I don't.
Yeah. But it is nice being equipped to deal with things as they come to you. But I don't know. A movie that I watched recently because it came on Netflix and everybody should watch. Although this is Canadian Netflix, I don't know if it's on American Netflix, but watch it anyway. It's The Beach Bum. One of my favorite movies. It has quickly ascended to being one of my favorite movies of all time. I think I might watch it again.
Cool.
It's so fucking funny.
I've been trying to watch shows, and the most I can watch is The Righteous Gemstones once a week, and then I don't watch.
The Righteous Gemstones also so fucking good. Yeah, like, incredible this season.
Judy is my favorite character.
Yeah, she's so horrible, but you love her.
She's the best.
Judy and BJ is such an amazing character combination.
She says, like, the funniest, most crass things I've never thought of. The most recent thing she said was, like, it's gonna make my gooch pucker.
Yeah. I remember they gave the line in the first season, they gave a line to a child actor as Judy, and it was like, I like it when this happens. It makes my bird twitch. This young kid totally commits to the line, too. It's really funny. Man, The Righteous Gemstone, what I love about Danny McBride is there's this very specific culture to North Carolina and South Carolina. Like, the Carolinas share this very unique sort of, like, dialed in to modernity, but still in the strange, rural, everything's really far apart. Like, it's this strange combination of the old world and modernity, and it brushes up against each other. It's like even in their first thing, the Foot Fist Way, the idea of like a martial arts studio in a strip mall, and it's the only one around for miles. There's something strange about that of like, and yeah, so the righteous gemstones, it sort of represents this refinement of commenting on this very specific culture, because it's like all of the shows are set in that area, right? Eastbound and Down is set in North Carolina, South Carolina.
Well, for the
Vice Principals,
for part of Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, it's set in Mexico, but yeah, but it's like it's something about these characters. I'm glad that they're given a voice. I'm glad that this Bojangles area of the country is has its poet laureates in Jody Hill and Danny McBride.
And now Walton Goggins is going to be in the Amazon Fallout show.
Yeah,
interesting.
That could be good. I mean, why not?
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know. I mean, Amazon is bad, but if they're gonna make us cool shows to watch while the world burns, then like great. Prime, man.
Tell you what, I don't have any trouble. Look, all of the media properties I like accepted Blood Money. Twin Peaks, that was, I'm sure, funded by actual child prostitution. It's funny.
What?
The show is about child prostitution.
What?
And it was funded by child prostitution. Well, yeah, that's Laura Palmer she was a child sex worker.
Oh no.
That's the whole show. It's a horrifying show.
Wow.
And she's repeatedly raped by her father. It's a really terrifying things happen in Twin Peaks. But it's funny because they also have funny characters and the log lady.
I prefer the David Lynch stuff where it's like an old guy who rides a lawnmower.
Do you like The Straight Story?
Yeah, I like that because
The
that
Straight
movie
Story is a good movie.
It's just like it's rated G, right?
Yeah, it's a Disney
just
movie.
A guy who rides his lawnmower all the way very far away.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he use a car?
Why doesn't he use a car? There's so many available, but instead
he chooses the lawnmower. The fuel efficiency is getting like 2 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, but it's about the journey.
Yeah. They're going to remake...
You meet a bunch of guys on recumbent bicycles.
We'll remake that with Steve Carell and... what would he be riding instead of a lawnmower?
He'd be riding a Roomba. He'd be perched on a Roomba.
Maybe he'd be riding one of those like autonomous delivery robots that give you your curries in Toronto.
He'd be riding... Have you seen those mono wheels?
No.
It's just a guy, and it's like there's a tire in the middle, and there's a platform that balances on either side of the tire where your feet go, and it's a very silly looking vehicle.
What I want is like a robot to deliver me my curry, but then like have it on a platter with like the metal top that you lift up like a butler.
A cloche.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called a cloche.
And I want the robot to like say dinner is served in an English accent and lift up the steam the cloche and present me with my steaming hot curry.
There you go. You want a Johnny Cab, but for a butler. I think the Johnny Cabification of technology is going to come. That's what Meta is all about, Yeah,
their stock is... It's funny, their stock's tanking, and but stocks in general are going up because military industrial complex is like, oh, we are going to sell 350 Javelin missiles to Ukraine every single day.
So a guy on Reddit going military industrial complex go burr.
Right.
As is on Wall Street Bets. Wall Street Bets, the lovable guys from GameStop are now investing in Stinger missiles.
It's funny because the first guy to go burr with money was Isaac Newton. It's true. It's true. He was after he proved himself to be super genius guy, they made him head of the mint. And he reformed the mint in England, and he made the money printer go burr for the first time ever. And he was the first guy to do that meme. And
there you go. They couldn't put me in charge of the mint.
I love Isaac Newton.
I put penises on all the coins.
Penis coin. Is that a crypto yet? Do we have
I'm
penis
sure there
coin?
must be a penis coin crypto.
Let's
Why do you love Isaac Newton? Because he was an asexual genius. Asexual genius.
I mean,
Isaac
and he
Newton.
did cool ass shit in the name of science to figure shit out. He did this thing to figure out about how eyes worked, where he put a knitting needle in his eye, and like squished it around and like observed how his vision changed.
You know, I'm going to say that's bad optics right there. Whoa.
He had a book called Optics.
That's what you need to know.
Yeah. I mean, he also came up with calculus simultaneously as Leibniz, which is great.
Light refracting into, what do they call that? Parallel innovation?
Mm-hmm. And they had like a little propaganda war going on about who actually invented calculus first. Yeah. So it's funny.
But it was just in the air.
I like
it was in
Leibniz
the air
too.
At the time. If you had to choose the celebrity death match, Newton versus Leibniz.
I
mean, Leibniz would beat up Newton. I think we can say that. Like Newton, I think I could take Isaac Newton.
I don't know. Newton would be a pretty scrappy fighter. I think he would probably be like
he was live.
Like you know how like you don't think you don't think you're gonna be. I'm sorry. Let me start over. You know how you think like, oh, I could beat up this gay guy, and then it turns out like you sorely misunderestimated.
I am thinking that all the time.
And then
time I'm like I think I can beat up that gay guy over
there. There's a great video
just
online.
Noticing gay guys and just speculating whether I can beat them.
There's this, I mean, it's a fight video, so it's a little brutal, but there's this video online of this very, very large gay guy beating the shit out of someone who is being homophobic to him and being very flamboyant while doing it. And it's very satisfying.
Yes. I bet he was emasculated.
Yeah. You know, hey, you got to do that. Everybody needs to take their toxic masculinity and just get rid of it, okay?
Get rid of it. Put it in a bag and huck it out the window over there until, some kids discover your toxic masculinity. And, oh no, it's taking over their bodies and they're becoming the toxic men and they're going around and they're saying negative things to women in order to lower their self-esteem. Oh, these toxic kids. But then we exorcise them. And then, the toxic man spirit is like, your mother's in here with me. And I'm like, no, take me. And then I jump out the stairs and I fall down the creepy steps in Washington, D.C. And now it's The Exorcist 3 and I'm George C. Scott.
Also, Isaac Newton was an incel.
Was he incel or was he volcel? I feel he was volcel.
Well,
was he like he couldn't get it?
Two sides of the same coin, probably. I think he was pretty socially awkward. He had Asperger's, which we're not, sorry. We're not supposed to say that. Isn't Asperger a Nazi or something?
Is he a Nazi? That's really funny. I got Himmler's disease.
I got Hitler disease. Yeah.
This Hitler's, it's really ravaging. We are raising... Why would you want to cure Hitler's disease? It seems like we'd want to kill the Hitlers. No, it's just named that. You don't understand. It's a terrible degenerative disease of the ass.
It's when your asshole falls out.
Oh no, it's Hitler's. My asshole's falling out. He was famously gastronomically disinclined. He had IBS. Much like the Jews that he hated, he had IBS. He was more similar to them than he would let on. Because he couldn't eat spicy food. Wouldn't it be funny if Hitler had I'm Hitler over here. My stomach, it hurts all the time. They make propaganda that I'm vegan, but I'm not vegan.
Some COVID news is happening.
Yeah.
New York State is going to end its mask mandate for schools. Starting when?
Bad. Aren't 1,000 people still dying every day from COVID in America?
I think so, but I think it's going down.
Sure. Let them off. Take off the masks, I say.
I don't know, dude. People got COVID fatigue.
Yeah.
It's hard. Oh man, my door's open. You can hear my baby is crying.
The baby is crying, but that's all right. That's what they're supposed to do. You wouldn't want a baby that was totally silent.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, a little, but it's fine.
Close my door. No, go to Ukraine and fight for the Ukrainians if you're gonna.
I'm gonna fight for Azov Battalion.
Well, wait. We mentioned before the show that very funny take about who we should send to fight for the Ukrainians. All the unvaxxed.
No, all the unvaccinated people? Yeah, someone.
We're going to send all the unvaccinated people to fight Russia.
Yeah. We are going to send them, and they're going to infect them, like with dirty swords, like when they used to rub shit on their swords in the Roman days.
Someone suggesting instead of selling war bonds, Ukraine should sell NFTs.
Actually?
Yeah.
Someone seriously suggested
a blue check like on Twitter.
No.
Yep.
No. I got my... I feel like Desert Storm trading cards that occupies the same space as Russia-Ukraine NFTs, like this.
He was joking.
Yeah, see, these are baits.
Yeah.
Lots of bait out there. There's so much bait out there. Real takes on Ukraine. What are real bad takes on Ukraine?
Real bad takes?
What are real bad takes on you? I want to hear the worst takes on Ukraine. I'll generate some bad takes on Ukraine. I think that everyone who is gay in Ukraine should form their own little country, and they'll be happy there. And we just need the manpower and the willpower, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it for the gays, because they don't have a line in any of this. This is a bad Ukraine take.
Another COVID news is there's some kind of study saying that research points to the Wuhan market as the origin. So we're back to the bat soup.
Back to the bat soup.
Great.
Fine.
Back
Who
to
cares?
I thought that was racist. I thought we weren't being racist by saying it was a lab leak, but now it's the market again.
There's nothing wrong with exotic meats, I'm sure if we went into one of those factory farms, we would see worthless things.
Oh yeah, we're going to get some the factory farming here is going to create some kind of horrifying disease eventually.
Yeah, it's still how can we compare? Who are we to compare? Our gross stuff is just different than their gross stuff.
Yeah, it's important not to be a Western chauvinist.
Well, that's what this is all about, really. It's the people with the Ukraine flags in your profiles. I love you. You're fine, but you're doing the work. You're doing the legwork of Western chauvinism.
Oh, how do you mean? I don't know. How do you mean? I don't know about that.
I guess, okay, so charitably, the putting a flag is I support the people of Ukraine. It's sad that this is happening to them. And that's good. If that's your sentiment, I fully agree with you. But if it's more no, what Ukraine represents is a vanguard against a type of imperialism that we have discarded, and this type of onslaught by Putin is, reminiscent of the Nazis, and we should mobilize our military apparatus against them. Then, which I think, that is the subtle implication with a lot of people.
That's literally how I feel.
Okay.
but that's just right now. That's just right now. I go back and forth. I'm not going to do anything on my Twitter. I've resolved to just not comment on this as much as possible.
Yeah, it's not. Neither of us know anything about this, so
I'm pissed.
Take our.
I'm pissed at Mr. Vladimir Putin, and I hope that he gets what's coming to him.
Mr. Vladimir Putin, Mr. Vladimir Putin, I would like to say to you, you are being a slim mister. That's what we're. Where I come from, that is the worst thing that you can call somebody.
You got to stand up to him, is my feeling right now. You got to we got to help them fight him, don't we?
No, I am full on appeasement. Give him Sudetenland. Just out of nowhere.
Don't we learn anything? We should probably not let him just. And it seems like the Ukrainians are doing an okay job at that, but it's early days still, and it's amazing to me the propaganda that it's oh, the Ukrainians are winning. They're winning. We do not know what's going on there.
No, I know. And I don't know, the Russian army seems pretty Pretty big.
They're trying to, I think the Russian army is trying to be restrained because they haven't, like, for example, they haven't done a widespread bombing campaign at all.
So what's the end game, right? Like Donetsk and Luhansk, they're free. Or they're not free, or they're like become part of the Russian state. You know,
I think this guy was Simon Ostrovsky.
Is that where it ends? If Putin got those two states, would that end the war? Right?
Well, no. This guy Simon Ostrovsky said basically that the end game is wherever he ends up. So he doesn't have a goal in mind. Mm-hmm. His goal is to go as far as he can push it and see how far he can take it. So if they stop the Russian army, and all he gets is Donetsk and Luhansk, then that's as far as that. Then that becomes what he gets. I don't think he has like an objective. I think if it was now I'm parroting what this guy said, Simon Ostrovsky. If Putin had his way, he would take all of the countries that were in the former USSR back, but he can't. But he can maybe get some or all of Ukraine.
So he's like in Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Frank is like, I don't know how much longer I have left, so I'm going to get real weird with it.
Yeah.
Gotta roast it. Someone help me roast this bone, you know?
Yeah.
Putin starts doing PCP.
Rum ham.
He starts growing out his hair real long. He starts getting a skullet.
I'm sorry, rum ham. I love you, rum ham.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's... If you don't stop him now, then he'll probably just keep doing this stuff. Right?
Yeah, but it is weak. President Brandon is weak. That is why he sees weakness in our Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, it's hard to say, I'm not saying, we should send troops into Ukraine, but I don't know. Maybe we should. I don't know.
What's the move here?
That's hard. It's hard because now we're dealing with nuclear states. Mm-hmm. So it sucks. I wish he didn't do this. I think ultimately you have to stand up for your own self. But, like, imagine saying that to Poland in 1939 or whatever. Like, Poland, you should stand up for yourself and not let Germany conquer you. Imagine if we had sent the troops into Poland, if Britain and France had sent troops into Poland to fight the Nazis then. Maybe it would have been a lot different.
Yeah, but
maybe we wouldn't have had a Holocaust, and we wouldn't have had Israel, then we wouldn't have the occupation of Palestine, and then we wouldn't have had falafels everywhere.
We wouldn't have all these great memes. We wouldn't have all these great Israel memes.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have a meme where it's Israel, but it's actually SpongeBob. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Krabs is the U.S. apparatus. And Palestine is, of course, poor little Squidward. No, people would hate you for comparing Palestine to Squidward.
It's hard because you should stand up against evil, and there is evil in the world.
Yeah.
But every time you stand up against evil, everyone in the back is like, hey, down in front, you're being evil. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you are. I mean...
Well, yeah, I'm reminded of True Detective. Of course, it all comes back to True Detective, where in that show, Matthew McConaughey famously said, "The world needs bad men, Marty." The implication being that there are these existential horrors out in the world, and the only people that can really take them on are people that are equally as damaged. Like America is an evil country, but that leaves it prepared to deal with another type of evil.
Well, everybody online
I don't think that's true.
Everybody online has brain poisoning about America. And so,
You're pro-American. You're an America guy.
I mean, I think...
You love America. You're Captain America.
I guess so. I don't know. Not really. But, I mean... I don't know if America falls and we need, there'll be a need for power to fill the vacuum of the hegemon. So China will step in and then have a Chinese hegemony.
Sounds fine.
Yeah, it sounds fine. I like.
Yeah.
I've traveled enough to places that aren't in the West a little bit to I've been to Russia and I've been to Senegal. Those are places not in the West, to sort of get that other really drastically different cultures are still cool. You can live in them and be fine.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, that is like the actions of America is, for the past 2 decades is described as this anxiety about losing the inevitable loss of your empire. You know, that's sort of what Iraq was all about. It's like this lashing out, this like, we need to create war in order to... It's like when an account is dying on Twitter and they start getting more desperate. Well, in a way, Peter Coffin is America in that fashion. Their empire is
everyone
ruined.
is talking about Iraq. And I think Putin's like, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
Because he has I think he has got slightly better reasons to go into Ukraine than we did to go into Iraq.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I absolutely. I like, if you're talking about
just on the scale,
which war is even more justified using the country's internal logic. Like Putin, who I see, like, if I'm to do some just some pop psychology here, let's do some pop psychology on Putin. I see a guy who is like very much saw the dissolution of the USSR as a huge emasculation, and you know, is like sees the idea of getting land back as this recouping of this great humiliation that I think, you know, if I were to guess as to his disposition, I think more than his own personal power, I think he does have a huge nationalist streak. I think that's sort of evident in how he speaks, what he does. And it seems like a genuine nationalist streak. Yeah. And I don't know what my point is generally than that. This seems more ego-driven than it does about any sort of strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we hung out with some people yesterday, one of whom is from Finland, so it was interesting to hear her takes, because Finland is on the border of Russia and had to be neutral. Finland is not in NATO. Finland is merely allied with Sweden. So Finland and Sweden are allied with each other, not in NATO. And right now, they want to be in NATO real bad.
Yeah.
But she thinks Putin has basically lost his mind and maybe has a degenerative terminal illness causing him to take drastic measures because his lifespan, he can see the end of the road. And I think that's why he's so paranoid about COVID, because I think he's immunocompromised or has a condition where if he did get COVID and it was serious, it would be very serious for him. So maybe it's early stage Parkinson's. Who knows?
This is exactly like that movie, The Bucket List.
With Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson?
Yeah. Hey, did you ever want to do things before you kick the bucket? There is one thing I would like to do, Jack Nicholson. You step back.
He's watching that movie over and over again in his bunker.
Yeah, obsessively watching The Bucket List.
He's talking to the screen as if he's friends with him.
In rapid mumbling Russian. We don't know anything. This is bad. It's okay to not know anything about this, and it's okay.
And it's okay to change your mind when you have new information.
Yeah. Also, don't be, and you
don't have to pick one side and stick with it. You can be like, today I feel pro this side, and I think this is happening. Like the other day on the Discord, let's shout out to the Big Shiny Takes. I was in the Big Shiny Takes Discord, and I was fuming about how many weapons we're sending to Ukraine and how we're going to cause Russia to collapse, and then we're just going to loot it again. I mean, now I don't care. Now I'm like, good.
Now you're past that.
Yeah. Now I think that's great. Fuck them. They shouldn't. You don't invade another country. It's, like when you're in school and you punch someone, you both get sent to detention.
Exactly.
But that's not a good lesson. That sucks. That zero tolerance policy that schools have, where if you get punched, you get in trouble. Are you aware of this? Do they have this?
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, that's how it's. But schools are weird little
Schools are how we
authoritarian
make our
fiefdoms.
citizens.
Yeah.
And what are we?
Sometimes life isn't fair.
I mean, sometimes you got to stand up to a bully. And the thing about it is that when you stand up to a bully, you shouldn't use nuclear weapons.
Yeah,
You shouldn't.
That's
you
a
don't
little too
curb
far,
stomp the bully, right?
I don't know.
No,
maybe
you don't
depends
do
how
that.
much of a bully. Have you ever seen the Larry Clark movie Bully? I think you should see the.
No, you don't have to kill them to stand up to them.
Bullies killed 10.
10?
That's how many bullies I've killed. I
10.
have a notch on my arm for every bully I've killed. I'm Buffy the Bully Slayer. I take them out. The only way to take them out is with a knife to their heart. You have to stick knives in their hearts.
I mean, I'm trying to think.
The only way to take a bully out.
What's the most libtarded take I can think of? And then I come to the realization this is what I actually believe we should do, which is we should seriously arrest the entire Russian army and Putin and put them on trial and then put them in jail.
You arrest them.
Arrest them and put them in jail for an illegal
do a trial
invasion.
in Nuremberg. On what, like, where would you send them to? The Hague? What jurisdiction? Whose jurisdiction is this? Or is this on America? They should declare Ukraine to be part of America.
We should annex it. We should annex Ukraine. Yeah, that would go over real well.
Yeah.
Yeah. International law is toothless, and the UN has failed.
Yeah, there's nothing.
So it's a tragedy. Because the UN has
failed. The countervailing force is NATO, who is... NATO didn't want Ukraine in the first place. Yeah.
Like, NATO doesn't want countries with border disputes because then they'll have to defend the country when the border dispute turns into a war like this. Like, thank goodness Ukraine wasn't in NATO, because then we'd have a world war.
That's the question too, is like, Putin's going to get a lot of land from this. There's no way around that. He's going to recoup a lot of land from Ukraine. I don't see this ending without that happening. Mm-hmm. And the question is, does he go further? Does he attack a NATO
I think
state?
He's going as far as he can go.
Yeah.
Because I think he thinks he's denied that Ukraine is a sovereign state. Mm-hmm. In his speech. He doesn't believe that it exists. So he's going to try to get as much as he can.
He's been listening to the Beatles back in the USSR, and he's taking it very literally.
He's a bad man.
He's a bad, bad man. We don't like him. We're not ultra-nationalist guys who respect that sort of machismo.
Yeah, I mean,
we respect little faggy guys.
Yeah, like Isaac Newton.
Isaac Newton and Prince.
Yeah.
And,
Prince made me... Prince, when I was like 5, I was so turned on. I was like, who's this sexy man? What?
When you were 5?
Yeah. No, when I was very small, Prince was one of my sexual awakenings.
That's interesting. You've never expressed any bisexual feel. Are you only bisexual for Prince?
No. When you're like 12 and 13 or 11 or so, at an all-boys school.
Sure.
You're horny for anything.
Sure, I guess so.
But
sure you're not a little gay, Steven?
I'm a little gay. I've always thought it's like a spectrum, but I'm mostly straight.
You're on the spectrum.
Yeah, I'm on the spectrum. I'm on several spectrums.
Spectrums.
I'm on a couple.
Yeah.
Maybe
you're
autism's a spectrum.
Individual.
Maybe that's... maybe gender's a spectrum.
Maybe Putin's on the spectrum. Have we ever considered that? Maybe his just hyperfixation is Ukraine. He just wants it back.
I don't know. I mean, I just like I like all the takes. I like looking at the takes. It's the news is interesting once again.
Mm-hmm. I think it should all be Chechnya. That's my take. That's my bad take.
I was thinking about making a really bad tweet about how Putin has enlisted the Chechens and how those Ukrainians better not hold any marathons. It's not very good. Oh,
pretty good.
We're going to blow up all their marathons.
No, we hate races, you know. Why are they French? These French Chechens.
The Chechens are French. They're the French people.
Ha we are Chechens. Yeah. We are Muslims.
You know, it's a sad and weird time.
It's a nuclear war. Nuclear war. It's a motherfucker. It's a motherfucker. Your ass got to go. Nuclear war.
My dad seems to think that this is good for Biden, which is...
I mean...
I don't know.
Okay, that was the funniest take. I forget her name. I think Amanda Wynn Lee or something like that had the take was like, historically wartime presidents get reelected and anything to keep Trump out of office.
He's not a wartime president, okay?
He's a wartime president. He will be if he marshals the troops and sends them down the way.
That would be
sends them down
so
to the Slavs.
unpopular. There's no reason to send. I mean, like, there's a moral and an ideological reason to do it, but America generally fights wars because it's in our material interest, because we're going to get, like, some leader somewhere has got to deal with Halliburton. And, like, if Halliburton wants to pave Ukraine, then maybe we should go to war, you know?
Yeah. We should find oil underneath.
Like, there was someone on Reddit who I tore into because he was like, we should send...
You tore into this guy on Reddit.
Because he was like, we should send troops into Ukraine to defend liberal democracy. And I'm like, when the fuck have we ever done that? When have we ever fought a war over ideology?
Buddy, I think there's a little movie you need to see called Tora, Tora, Tora. That's when America was heroes. That's the Pearl Harbor movie.
Okay.
And the ideology was we don't like it.
I'm trying to think, like, was Vietnam a war of ideology?
Yeah. I mean, more so than it was a war of resource allocation, because what were they going to get out of Vietnam? Heroin?
I mean, that was a part of a greater battle against communism that
was ideological for sure.
It's because we wanted to dominate the global trade routes, I think.
Yeah. But there's no strategic material value to Ukraine as a country.
Yeah, and I just think
to having Ukraine in the sphere of influence of America.
We shouldn't be fighting wars to defend liberal democracy.
This is about Rwanda. I haven't someone made the Rwanda take. That would be the worst take. You would have stood by and watched the Hutus slaughter thousands of Tutsis. And you would have done nothing. And this is just the same. Only the Hutus now are Russian Hutus.
Well, the Russians are trying not to kill all the Ukrainian civilians. So, but that might change if they actually are losing. Because, like, what the Russians haven't started doing is just, like, carpet bombing the entire... And they could carpet bomb the whole fucking country, but they don't want to do that yet.
I mean, there is the conspiracy that Putin and Biden and everybody's in cahoots, and this is just a way to jack off the military-industrial complex. It's just a way to get the market running again.
But the market was already doing fine.
Yeah, but, maybe in order to generate history, in order to generate legacy, you have to sort of play act. It's this wag the dog, but you actually do the war.
Well, what I've heard is that Putin and in Russia, they are trying to say that it is not a full-scale invasion and it's like a minor operation. They're like, we're doing like a special operation. We're doing like a minor special operation. So, and of course, American media is saying...
It's so funny they use the same language. Oh, this is a police action.
Yeah. American media is saying it was full-scale invasion. I guess so. I have no idea. Somewhere, maybe, is it in the middle? It's hard to know what's real. Probably everything is lies. and we won't know until Adam Curtis explains it to us.
Yeah, Adam Curtis. In the end, Adam Curtis will explain everything to us. But something unexpected happened. What we didn't understand was that Vladimir Putin wanted something more than legacy. What he wanted was every Beanie Baby. He had long since discovered the magic and beauty of these miraculous little toys. But what he didn't realize was how prohibitively expensive the hobby was. He had empowered oil oligarchs in order to gain the funds necessary to purchase the very rare Holiday Sweet Sweet Bear. But he knew this would not be enough. And so, in this effort, he consolidated his troops on the border of the Donetsk and launched an attack which would be known as the Beanie Offensive.